Okay, Ann, what's going on?
Thank you, Dr. Cloud. I am in my 70s, and my question is how I can move past my resentment and bitterness that I'm feeling towards my sister.
Hmm. Okay. And what do you resent her for?
Okay, this has been building up over the course of a little over a year, and it's because of another sister, an older sister. She Her health was declining, and she was in a long-term care facility, and she passed with COVID. But
Hmm.
anyway, during the year of her illness and death, my younger sister seemed not to uh, want to be of any support or show love and support for my other sister.
Hmm.
She rarely called her. She almost never visited her. Um, she just wasn't there for her. And I think the bitterness is, if she wasn't there for my other sister, she's not going to be there for me. So how do I move past this and just forgive her, and
Well, what would be the alternative?
to feel like I'm feeling now? And that's not a
And
good
if you look,
alternative for me.
yeah, well, that's kind of the result, right? The feeling is the result.
Right.
The stance is the alternative. Is it that you feel like um, you could be able to wake her up from this and she's not waking up? You could change her, you could get her to care, you could punish her. What's the alternative
And
to letting it go?
the alternative to letting it go,
Right now you're in an alternative state. So is that
right?
to is there just such a desire for her to be different than she is that it's hard to let go of that desire?
I think that's probably the crux of it. Yes, I want her to be different.
You want her to be different. Okay.
Yes,
And how much younger is she than you?
4 years.
4 years. So how long have you wanted her to be different?
Well, primarily the illness and death of my sister, which has been a year and a half
Oh, okay.
progression.
So for 65 years, 60 whatever, however many years, you were okay with how she was, and it's only been in the last year that she's really disappointed
That's a pretty fair assessment. Yes,
you. Is it?
we've always been a close knit family,
Yeah. But was she not
and
self-centered? Was she not
she's
self-centered in
always
those?
she's always been self centered.
That's what
But
I'm kind of wondering here.
yes, she
You know what I'm
has.
saying? So sometimes here's why I'm asking this. Sometimes when we can't, when you say, I just don't like how she treated my sister's illness. Okay, if that is a standalone thing, then you approach it one way. But if that's tapping into, and damn it, she's been selfish her entire life. It's always been me that kind of feeling in a family where something has been really long standing and maybe you've never let yourself, acknowledge it, or y'all never address that, or why did my parents do something about this or something. Sometimes some of these occurrences are tapping into something we've felt for a long time. And to give it up means, well, it's still unresolved from forever. That's what I'm asking you. Is this a long-term, unworked through thing about kind of, I've always done what's required, and she kind of skated in life? Is it that feeling?
No, I really don't think it's that as much as it is that I thought we were close,
Yeah.
but I think the root of it is that I don't think that if I had a need of her love and support, I might
Yeah.
have her love, but I don't think she would support me either.
Yeah. And that may be
And
true.
why should I invest in a relationship with someone that doesn't want to, support me if I need her?
Okay. Well, it's a great question. Have you posed that question to her? Have y'all talked about this
I,
issue?
before my sister's death, I did try to very calmly tell her that our sister desperately needed both of us, and that she knew that my other sister, for whatever reason, didn't come around or didn't call or whatever. And my sister got very, very defensive.
What'd
And
she say?
she said she did care and she had supported, but she didn't.
Yeah. Okay. And is that the
And
last y'all
so,
talked about it? Is that the last y'all talked about?
yes, yes, that's the last time I've tried to talk to her about it.
Okay. And in since then, has she been in communication? Have y'all just been stayed close and business as usual?
No, because I haven't been as eager to visit with her and stay close as usual.
Okay,
We
but she
occasionally
has.
talk, and
But she has.
well, she makes attempts, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, probably, you got a couple of options here. Um, at some point with somebody that doesn't acknowledge something, it doesn't do any good to continue to try to talk about it. But it doesn't sound like maybe with one attempt you might be at the giving up stage yet, or where it would be appropriate to give up. What I would do is, if I felt that way, I would find a time to talk to her, and I wouldn't come at it as necessarily just a confrontation. I would come at it with a little bit of a curious um, stance to understand, starting with, and I'd say to her, I got to tell you something that's kind of hard for me to understand. I want you to help me understand. When our sister was sick, I just I felt like I was kind of carrying it by myself, and it felt like to me and it looked like to me that you were not engaged for some reason. So I want to understand from your perspective, if you were and I didn't know about it, that would be good to know. And if you weren't, I'm not judging you, but if you weren't, there must be a good reason for that. And I'd like to understand what it is. Now, if we take that approach, sometimes what's going to happen is it is going to emerge what might have been a dynamic from her side that you might not be aware of. Doesn't excuse anything, but it helps you understand. Okay. People have reasons for stuff that are inexcusable. The behavior is inexcusable, but the reason is valid. They didn't handle the reason well. And so I think you can validate the reason, and maybe that be a touch point of where, and I'm making these up, I know they don't apply, but I'm giving examples of where you never knew it, but she always felt put down by your older sister. You never knew it, but she always felt like, you know, your parents thought your older sister was smarter than her. You never knew it, but she didn't feel like she was smart enough to bring anything to the party, and so she avoided it. We don't know what it is, but I would want to get at kind of where she's coming from. It doesn't excuse. You could say, I can understand that. I just, I just wish it had been different, and that's all. And then probably go to, but let me tell you one of the big reasons I'm sharing this. I might be her in 10, 20, 30 years. And I might need to depend on you. Am I going to be able to do that? So that's probably how I would approach it. And then how she responds to that conversation would tell you kind of what you're dealing with. And then you might have to get to, like I said earlier, well, you realize you got a sister who's not going to be that supportive. And then that's a loss. So we get over resentment, to your initial question. We get over resentment by processing a situation and then letting it go. But it's hard to let go until we fully processed. That's what I would do.
I appreciate that, and I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I wish I could promise you that conversation is going to go well, but I can't.
Well,
But it's going to tell you
I
what to
think
do either way.
the reluctance to even have it was because the first time it didn't go well.
Exactly.
And I don't want to. I don't want. Well, right now I feel like I've lost both of my sisters,
Right.
and I don't like that feeling.
Yeah. And I would tell her that. I'd make that part of the conversation. I'd say, last time we talked about this, it didn't go well. And I think it kind of got between us, and I feel like I've lost you. I don't want to lose you. I don't
Right.
want to lose two sisters. And that's a vulnerable statement. I'd put that in there and just say, I don't want to lose two sisters. And internally, I'm kind of losing you because I got this unresolved sort of crummy feeling I'm walking around with. But I don't want to lose you. You matter to me. And I would communicate that. Okay. Thank you for your call.
I'm gonna try it.
Okay, try it and call me back and tell me how it went.